For Nanook of the North, Robert Flaherty took explorations in the North for years and learned the culture of Eskimo life. And the anthropologist Susie Crate and her daughter visited indigenous communities threatened by climate change. To make the gods must be crazy, Jamie Hughes flew to Kalahari often to visit the Bushmen and learn about their culture. Now, what if the goal were to understand the culture of independent filmmaking? Would you immerse yourself by spending time at A24 Studios, following the directors of films like Moonlight, Lighthouse, and Sorry to Bother You? What if you don't have a budget? What if you don't have the time, the resources? What if, instead, you make an independent film to understand the culture of independent film? Film has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. I remember getting together with friends and making all kinds of little videos for fun. However, it wasn't until I began watching a series called The Gamers that I realized this goofy style of movie making actually existed in the real world. A type of movie making where nerds make awesome fantasy stories that have no ties to Hollywood and no intentions of getting to that level. It was simply called independent filmmaking. In high school, there were no film classes available to me, so instead, I pursued my passion through different means, such as robotics. Robotics didn't really need a video guy, but I asked if I could be one for them, and they happily agreed. Soon after, I found myself on an indie film set for a movie called The Penitent Thief. I was just an extra on set, but it was still cool to see the fun, laid-back culture that independent filmmaking could have. A few months after that, I finally landed an internship with a small independent production company called TKG Communications, who I am revisiting today to ask about independent filmmaking.
My name is Chris Kelly, and I'm the founder and principal of TKG Communications, LLC in Dallas, Texas. My company is a strategic communications company, and what we do is help our clients tell stories to their audiences. So I was very fortunate after graduating from college, Texas Christian University. I was hired at a school by the Dallas Morning News. It became clear around 2006, 2007 that newspapers as we knew them then were not going to be able to survive this transition to a digital era. As you know, the internet has been a historic transformative engine for the economy and for culture and for all of us. And when it became clear that I very well, even though I was the web guy, might not have a future at newspapers, I decided to take a voluntary buyout. Our owner was very generous in giving those of us who helped him build his company into a big company the opportunity to start fresh. And so I took a buyout and began my consultancy as a sole proprietor, working by myself from my home office. And I did that for 10 years. But it became very clear that customers, my clients, wanted video. And I was not trained in video. I'm a storyteller, but not trained in video. So I hired a full-time employee to help me tell stories in video. As an independent production company, there are freedoms and there are challenges. So to talk about the freedoms are that you, and I urge this for anyone considering a career in independent production, it's important that you chase the work you want to do. Don't just accept jobs because they pay the bills. You will become bored, you'll become frustrated, and your clients will notice that you're not into it. So it's not unlike school in some respects that you have to do drafts and iterations, but by the same token, be fulfilled by the craft. This is not a 9-to-5. This is not a promotion waiting at the end of it. It's lonely work from time to time, but what it is extremely rewarding. And after 15 years, and I'll retire as an independent, I'm super excited to be doing it. Every day I wake up, can't wait to get to the office.
After leaving his office, I began thinking about the most important things Chris said. Being independent can be hard, atypical, and even lonely, but it gives you the freedom to do what you want. And by the time I got to college, I finally started doing just that. College is an interesting time for everyone. Partying, video games, and most importantly, somehow studying. However, for me, the most challenging part about college has been figuring out how to balance all of it and still find time for my filmmaking. Obviously, taking film classes was a good start, but I needed more. Near the end of freshman year, I began a video internship, which was one of the best things I've ever done, but it still wasn't enough to fulfill my creative drive, and we didn't have a film club on campus, so I said, screw it, I'll start one myself. It was through film club that I met my good friend Andrew Thomas. Andrew has gone on from film club and put his degree to use as a commercial producer at a local news station in Denison, Texas. Today, Andrew and I are going to talk a little bit about his journey from making independent projects to working in a more corporate setting.
So, I've loved film since I was a little kid. My dad worked at a news station when I grew up, so I have been around cameras, I've been around editing for a very long time. As I started getting older into like middle and high school, I learned that many times an option I could do with class projects is I could turn them into movies. Continued that, pursued that as my major. I became a media studies major in college, made short films when I can, became involved with the film club. So AC Filmmaker is something that my good friend Evan started. When I was a senior and he was a sophomore, he started the program. And I, of course, hopped on board doing whatever roles that I could to help get the club off the ground. And I had the great honor of actually writing, co-directing, and editing the first big short film that AC Filmmakers made, a fun little project called Printing Fee that I was quite proud of, and I think everyone else in the club was proud of as well. One of the great things about working in the independent film world is that everyone seems to be very, very passionate, not only about, the money and the fame. In fact, actually, I would say what people are mostly passionate about is presenting a project that is really good, that people will enjoy, and that they will be proud of. So there's a lot of hard work for the art's sake. So I work in the corporate field now. I work at a part of Lockwood Broadcasting at a news station called K10 Media. It is very different than working in, the independent film world, because what I do, I'm a commercial producer. So I write, shoot, voice, and edit commercials for local businesses in the area that our station makes contracts with. And you get to be a lot less creative with that. Most of our commercials are about 30 seconds long, and spots and promos and the other stuff that I do. And they tend to be very, very formulaic. I'm the only person there. I'm the only cameraman. I'm the only lighting crew. I'm the whole set. I'm the director and everything. So I'm extremely limited in what I get to do.
As our journey into the world of indie film culture comes to a close, I thought it would be appropriate to explain what I am up to now. And what better way to close things out than by getting interviewed by the man who introduced me to movies in the first place, my father. During the interview, he asks me questions about my independent film that I have been working on for the last 6 years. So this project is called Nightwing vs. Red Hood, Brothers at War. It is a Batman fan film that has been in the works for about, 5 or 6 years now. It started really junior year of high school. Me and some of my friends were like, dude, this idea would be so cool to have Nightwing and Red Hood fight each other. We started preparing for a bigger story and bigger film, and we eventually got to the point where we started filming a trailer concept and editing that and seeing our footage, kind of on screen for the first time. It was a surreal moment, And that was kind of the moment where I was like, wow, we can do this thing.
Sounds like this is packed with a lot of meaning for you. Would you trade this experience for a $100,000 budget?
No, this has been one of the best experiences, if not the best experience of my life. I've gone through so many challenges and overcome so many challenges, learned so much, created relationships with people that I wouldn't have otherwise. And that's the best part, creating relationships, a sense of family, for art. Money is not art, right? Money cannot make art. People make art. And that's what I've learned, and that's the best thing that you can take away from this independent life is you do it for the art. You don't do it for the money.
And that's probably the best way to answer what it's like to make independent films. People gathering together to make something beautiful, something fun, something creative without worrying how much money it will make. It can be lonely, hard, but it can also be rewarding and freeing. And it's why I'm dedicating my life to it. The culture is much different from any other, and it's one I'm proud to be a part of.
That's so cool.
Oh, did it end? Did it end? Oh, it wasn't a full circle? God.